The first time I touched a piano, I was 5 years old. Back then, all I had to do was play the notes on the page. Now, I look at music completely differently, and I'm going to show you how you can too. It was always about what the teacher wanted me to play, fitting into the expectation of a piece that was already there before I even started learning it. It bothered me. How could this be the only thing you could do with music? I mean, there's been music for thousands of years, yet there I was learning songs from an accredited source, and I didn't even have the skills to know how they made the songs that I listened to on the radio. It just didn't add up. It wasn't until later that I found the missing piece that I'd been searching for, the untold side of music, one that had been hiding in plain sight all along. Music theory. How it all worked. I want to share with the world what I wish I knew, all those years ago. My teachers used to say that all there was to music was reading the notes on the page and making sure that those notes were right. I believed them. In this multi-part series, I'm going to be showing you all of the secrets that I know about music theory, so hopefully you can take them and further your understanding and appreciation of music as a whole. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to start writing music of your very own. I'm Sam Vesley, and this is Tonicized. Now that I'm older, I realize that there's more to learning music than the songs our instructor gives us to learn. There are systems and patterns that we can use to ensure that we get a much more insightful look at how music actually works, and start using these secrets for ourselves. This brings me to the circle of fifths, which is, to me, one of the most underrated tools in music theory that we can use to compose, create, and explore music. And the craziest part is, not a lot of people know about it, which just blows my mind. I consider the circle of fifths to be kind of like the cookbook of music. And without the right ingredients, you're not going to be able to bake the right things. So for example, if you wanted to cook in the key of C major, you're going to need the ingredients of C major. And if you don't use the ingredients of C major, you're going to have a really bad tasting key signature, a bad tasting cake. If you're an instrumentalist, a composer, arranger, or you just want to know more about music in general, the circle of fifths is a fantastic tool for you to use to further your understandings and just to take your music abilities to the next level. So before we dive into the complexity and the secrets of the circle of fifths, I want to dive into the basics of music theory just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So if you're a beginner and you have no idea what music is, let me put it to you very simply. Music uses the alphabet, A through G. And we can kind of associate those positions on a piano way easier than on other instruments. Now, you're probably also wondering, why aren't we using the black keys? Well, this is where it gets interesting. To access the black keys without kind of causing too much grief, we use specific symbols, sharps and flats. A sharp's purpose is to raise up notes by a half step or a semitone, and a flat's purpose is to lower notes by a half step or a semitone. Using sharps or flats gives us access to different note combinations, which you could also call key signatures. This is what we use to ensure that we use the right combination of notes to make our songs sound good.
Oh, I get it. It's like when you sit on something sharp, you stand up and you're in pain, so you go out of your chair. And then when you flatten something, you make it lower. Oh, the sharps and the flats make so much more sense now.
Oh, hey, Hubert. Everybody, meet Hubert.
Hello.
I'm glad you could stop by, Hubert. I'm really glad that you're also able to learn a few things about music theory.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I don't understand a thing about music, so your videos are helping me quite a bit. I tried to learn when I was your age and it just did not go so well.
Well, like I said, I'm glad to hear, Hubert. If you like this video, you should try and subscribe so you can catch the next one. I know there's lots more to learn about music theory, and I would love to be able to show you everything I know.
Well, that's great. What's a subscription?
That's a fair question. All you have to do is just click the subscribe button that's located just underneath this video, and you'll be able to find it, and click it, and you're good.
Nope, still don't know where it is.
Alright, well, I'll catch up with you after this video, and I'll help you out with that. Sound good?
Perfect. I'll go for my walk, and when I come back, you'll show me how to do the subscription thing. That'll be good. That'll be good. I like that.
Alright, sounds good. Using various combinations of sharps or flats mixed in with those white notes, we can start to develop patterns, and these patterns are called key signatures. We use key signatures in music to help us make decisions as to which notes are going to sound good to our ears when we're writing, creating music, or just playing through your classic version of Jingle Bells. But how do you know how many sharps and how many flats belong to a specific key? Well, this is where the secret of the circle of fifths comes into play. To start, we're going to go to the very top of the circle in the key of C major. This key is used most often for beginners because it has no sharps and no flats. This key is great, it's my favorite. The key of C major is in position 0 on the circle, which you can see here at the very top. On the right side of the circle, we have all the key signatures that use sharps only. And on the left side, the key signatures that use flats only. But why do we call it the circle of fifths? Well, here's why. To make our way around the circle, we have to use 5 notes to reach our new key. Now, these aren't just any 5 notes. These are notes that belong to the scale that we're in. If I'm in the key of C, and I'm going to use 5 notes in C major, this would mean that I would be using C, D, E, F, and finally G to land on my new key signature. This is an important step in using the circle, using the notes that are inside of the key signature to move up 5 notes will ensure that you don't miss a sharp or a flat later on in some of the future steps. So keep this in mind as we move forward. So our new key signature is now G major. This is our first opportunity to figure out a new set of notes, or a new set of ingredients if you will, for our new key. To do this, we're going to use a sentence that I've managed to memorize over my experiences with music theory, but I encourage you to memorize this as well. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. I still have so many questions about this sentence. Who is Father Charles? Why is he stopping a battle? And does he not know Obi-Wan Kenobi's golden rule of not losing the high ground?
I have the high ground!
This sentence is important because it offers us a sneaky way to remember the order in which we add the sharps or the flats to a specific key signature. Now let me walk you through the practical application of this sentence so you can see what I mean. It's really cool. To add the sharps, we read the sentence from left to right, as we normally would. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. As we move through the circle, it's important to remember 2 things. Number 1, the number of positions we are away from the top position, or C major's position, directly correlates to the number of sharps or flats we need to add to our key signature. Number 2, we need to carry over the key signature of the previous key before adding another sharp. For example, G major is 1 position away from C major's position, position 0. This means that we will need to add 1 sharp as it matches the position number. Position 1, 1 sharp. Pretty easy. Because father is our first word in the sentence, the first sharp we will be adding is F sharp. This ensures that anything we play in this key will need to have the F sharp in it in order to sound good. Let's move on to the next key signature. As we move 5 notes from G and get to D major's position, position number 2, we will be needing to add 2 sharps. Position 2, 2 sharps. These sharps will follow the sentence Father and Charles, F sharp and C sharp. It's important to keep these in order to make sure that you are playing the correct sharps and writing them in the correct order as well if you are composing. Let's move up 1 more key signature. 5 more notes up from D, we arrive at A major, which is now 3 positions away from C major's position, position 0. So we add, you guessed it, 3 sharps. Position 3, 3 sharps. These sharps will be F sharp for father, C sharp for Charles, and G sharp for goes. Now, as you can see, this sentence is really important, and memorizing it makes this process just so much easier. The sharp side's pretty straightforward. You move down to a new position, 5 notes, and you match the position number to the number of sharps. That easy. But it gets a little bit more challenging once we start to go the other way around the circle on the flat side. Now, the flat side uses the same principles as the sharp side, with only 2 differences. Number 1, To find our new key signature, we are going to move down 5 notes of the scale that we're in, as opposed to 5 notes up. And number 2, we are still using the same sentence. Father Charles goes down and ends battle, but for adding flats, we say the sentence backwards. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. So putting this into practice, it's gonna look a little bit like this. As we move down 5 notes using C major's key signature, C, B, A, G, and F, we land on our first position, F major. This means that we're going to be adding 1 flat to match that position number, position 1. Position 1, 1 flat. Now to find which flat we're going to use, we're going to say the sentence backwards. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. That first word is battle, which means B flat is our first flat that we're going to be adding to the key of F major. Now, for the trickiest part of the flat side, when we move down 5 notes, F, E, D, C, B flat, we have to keep the B flat in our process. This is why keeping track of your key signature is so important when moving down those 5 notes, because if you don't and forget 1 or 2, you may land on a note that just does not sound good, and it will make the circle 10 times harder than it needs to be. Now, this applies for all of the key signatures on the flat side as well. So moving through to B flat, being 2 positions away from C major, we have to add those 2 flats again, making it battle ends, B flat and E flat. Moving to our next key signature, 5 more notes down from B flat, we are using B flat major's key signature. B flat, A, G, F, E flat. This is our new key signature. Position 3 means 3 flats. And using this backwards sentence that we all love so dearly, battle ends and, meaning the 3 flats we're going to be adding is B flat, E flat, and A flat. Now you can continue on this way all the way through the circle on the flat side to find all of your key signatures. On both sides of the circle, we only have 7 key signatures, and there is some overlap. As long as you can use all of the words in the sentence, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, you've done it right. And once you get to that 7th word, you're done. You've completed the circle of 5ths. The circle of 5ths is an extremely important tool that I use every day in my compositions, in my arranging, and in my performances. I always have to think about what key I'm in and what ingredients are inside of each key in order to make sure I sound good. And I hope that throughout this video, I was able to unveil the secrets of how it works so that you can use it for your own personal musical success, whatever that means to you. Now, a reminder that I do have a free PDF for you guys to use down in the description below so that you can practice and get to know the circle of 5ths a little bit better every single day. Be sure to like this video if you learned something new today and subscribe to my channel to see more music theory related content. You can also let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about what you saw in this video today or if I missed anything about the circle of 5ths. I love making videos for you guys and I look forward to seeing you next time on Tonicized.